Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Ooh, it's Taco Tuesday. I haven't set out dinner yet. How about you?
Hello,
And
happy
why
Tuesday.
do I, ooh, it's Taco Tuesday. Why does it do that? I wish I could fix that and stop. Anyway, hello. It is Tuesday. Sorry for those of you on the replay. Sorry about that opening. I don't know why it automatically plays when it's coming from Zoom and going to Facebook. I stream in through, so get this, so I have to stream in from Zoom into Facebook because otherwise my mouth doesn't match my words. It's like I'm in a Chinese kung fu movie or something like that. Anyway, hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tina Heuermann. I am a coach, soon to be author. For those of you that have not heard yet, I am writing, I do have my book that's in edit stages, so pretty excited about that. And I'm a coach, a speaker, and I'm a network marketing professional. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about limiting beliefs today because that is something that I've worked so hard to overcome, and it's not done yet. It's a constant learning experience for me. So if you're catching this live, put live in the comments. And if you're catching replay, then just go ahead and put replay in the comments. Let me know where you're from too. Again, my name's Tina Heuermann, for those of you that don't know me. And I'm so grateful for the love and support of all of you on Facebook. So as most of you know, I have been to a personal development conference lately and got a little story about that. It was a bucket list moment that number 2 on my bucket list. And I knew I was going to do it before it actually happened because I had so much belief in my vision. And, I've talked about this several times, like manifesting and seeing it with every sense. I think my last video, I talked really about that, but let's get down to this a little bit. So it was a personal development conference. It was a faith over fear. And there were a lot of takeaways that I had. And John C. Maxwell was amazing, as there were so many amazing speakers. But there was a woven theme throughout the entire conference that I think a lot of us struggle with. That you caught me, yay, hi Mary. That we all struggle with things that hold us back, fears that hold us back. Even in the training that I do for our team for our network marketing business, it can be scary when you first start talking about the products because you don't know enough, you don't know how to answer, you haven't been in very long, you're not as good as so and so. Those are all things that are going to keep you stuck. But for as successful as I portray or am in this moment, I'm not done growing and I'm not done helping others. And I have to get past those limiting beliefs. And here's what happened. I got home from that conference and I went into my turtle mode. And a lot of you guys have heard me talk about turtle mode. Turtle mode is when I let fear and self-doubt take over and I turn into a turtle and I go into my shell. And I do things like I still continue to work. I still show up every single day because that's one of the keys to what I do. You have to show up every day. But I just had an energy deficit is the best way to put it. And it was like, what do I do now? I've had my biggest goal. Where do I go from here? And I started telling myself, well, I'm not that successful and all this stuff, all this garbage. that that we can get caught up in telling ourselves, sorry, I had to put on a little my self-sabotage oil so that I'm protected and not falling into that. What about you? What holds you back? What keeps you from going to that next level? Is it some trauma that you've experienced as an adult? Was it some turbulent teenage years where you made some bad decisions? Was it a traumatic childhood that was filled with abuse, mental, physical, sexual? Whatever it is, it's not something that can define who you are today unless you let it. Some people will hold on to those tragedies because that's all they know. They can't get past, it's not that that's all they know, it's just they can't get past the feelings of that trauma and where they felt that they failed someone to make a difference. But my mentor Ray Higdon always says, life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. So when you figure out what that limiting belief is and what triggers you, that's the big thing. When you see someone being successful, when you see someone being happy, when you see someone going through something that you don't have, sometimes you can get that nasty feeling inside of jealousy and envy. But if you turn that around and you say, gosh, I'm so excited for her, for him. I can't wait to work through my garbage and be as happy as they are, versus the negative aspect of that that's going to keep you stuck where you're at. And so it's identifying those triggers. So when you feel that angst come up, that feeling of I'm not good enough, think back to when you first felt that. Was it childhood? Was it teen years? Was it in a recent divorce? You're the kind of person that needs hand-on to see this work. And Mary, we're going to get to that. I'm going to give you some steps on how to do this, because it truly is, it has changed my life. And I can't not talk about it and help people change theirs, because here's the key thing. What are you working on in your life right now to have that joy? It's identifying those triggers first, identifying when you first felt them, addressing that issue in your mind and processing the pain out of it and the disappointment out of it, so that you can observe that situation from an adult view versus the 5-year-old child's eyes. And if you can separate that, you can talk to that 5-year-old and say, hey, listen, honey, that was not your fault. And it's not fair that you were given that experience with no tools on how to handle it. But look at where we've come together. Because you didn't give up, because you made it through that situation, look who I get to be today. That's been very powerful for me, going back to my 5-year-old self. Yeah, this is it. Sorry, I've got notes in front of me too on another screen. So for me, I grew up in a household with a raging alcoholic father. And there was a lot of other stuff that happened too that I'm not yet ready to talk about, publicly. But there was a lot of stuff that 5-year-old little girl had to go through that's not fair. And I remember we lived a mile away from school, and mom worked and dad sometimes worked. But if he wasn't working, he was drinking. And if he wasn't working, he was drinking. And I would walk to school uphill both ways in the snow, a mile each way. It was a mile, and it was in the snow, but it wasn't uphill both ways. And I remember coming down the main 4-lane highway and turning onto our side street. And as soon as I turned that side street, I was overcome with fear, sadness, abandonment, kind of feeling more so in just missing my mom. And then I would start telling myself, because there was so much that happened that I didn't think that I would get what I wanted. So I would wish for what I didn't want in order to get what I wanted. Does that make sense? So coming home, I didn't know if I was going to have a raging alcoholic father that was going to be screaming and drunk. I didn't know if he would be home at work, at the bar, and if he was home, what temperature was his energy. And so I would say to myself that half a block down, he's going to be home, he's going to be home, he's going to be home. Because in my mind, I didn't get what I wanted. And so I would wish he was there so that he wasn't there. How sad is that for a child to have that feeling? And if he was home, I would go hide in my room because I was afraid to come out and ask for a snack. And it had been a long time since lunch. And I couldn't wait for my mom to get home because she was my safety. She's what protected me. She's what brought that balance and security back into my life. So how can I use that to inspire others? Well, hopefully this, the fact that I keep going and I don't give up, that I'm building a global business and inspiring other people to step out of their comfort zone and do that with me. It's truly a gift to be given this opportunity to do something like that. But the most important part is love. Lead with love. Love is the highest frequency gift that you can give yourself that's going to help elevate your mood, help elevate your look on life. And if you you just look around, oh my gosh, my tree in my backyard is starting to turn orange. Even though I know winter's coming and I don't like it, I'm going to look at that tree and say, gosh, that tree is so beautiful. What a great day. And I talked about that the other day on gratitude. Be grateful. Love is a higher frequency than gratitude. And when you go through those energies and frequencies of those emotions, because emotions are energy, and when you lead with that, when you lead with that love, and you don't buy into that negative aspect of your life, you look at it, you address it, you figure out a way to overcome that, and you do that with love in your heart, life does end up getting better because you start attracting that type of person, that type of energy back into your life. And if you have that boundary on what you don't allow in your life, then that's going to help keep the negatives out while allowing the good in. So when I think back to that 5-year-old and where she had the issues of feeling secure, I tell her, you are safe, you are loved, you are worthy. Now your assignment is to find your biggest obstacle. What is it that you deal with on a daily basis that keeps you stuck? For me, it was, I'm not good enough. And where you are now, think of Legos, okay? And every experience that you have in life has a Lego brick attached to it. And those building blocks of things that you've overcome, no matter how traumatic they are, they're the base layer. They're that foundation of that tall skyscraper you're going to build with Legos. And you keep building upon that and building upon that and building upon that. While that base layer is important, eventually when you start addressing the emotions attached to it and observe them versus live in them, that base layer blends in with all the other base layers, and you get to build on that. And the greatest gift of all of this is you get to help the person you used to be by inspiring them to move up and out of that base layer to give yourself permission to put that next layer on. How cool is that? So grab a pen and paper, because we're going to write something down. This is a really hard exercise to do. And I want you to write down these four things. I love me. I am powerful. I am worthy. And I am safe. You got those written down? Okay. Now here comes the hard part. I want you to look in the mirror every single morning and stare into your eyes as you repeat that out loud to yourself 3 times every morning. It's going to be so uncomfortable at first because, one, a lot of us don't like to look at each other or look at ourselves, right? We don't like to stare at ourselves in the mirror because we have those preconceived judgments of who we are and things about us that we don't like. Well, we are uncovering those. We're dealing with those. We're getting out of them. We're observing that emotion of why we don't think we're good enough, letting that go, and then replacing it with something good. Yeah, Shelley. Hi, Michaela. I love me. I am powerful. I am worthy. I am safe. And so say those 3 times every single day. And eventually it's going to become comfortable. And then it's going to become a truth. Then when you start to get those feelings, another feeling may pop up. Maybe you want to, replace one of those with something else. Whatever that emotion is that you want to overcome, do the I am statement in the mirror 3 times as you stare at your eyeballs. You got to stare at yourself. And I'm telling you, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you're going to get through it. And so here's kind of the walkthrough on that I promised. Let's see, hands on to see the work. So Mary, that's part 1 of your assignment. Part 2 of your assignment is step 1 is you're going to play detective and discover the limiting beliefs that hold you back. And you're going to identify those by what triggers you. And Mary said you've been bamboozled by pyramid schemes. I have too, but I still absolutely love the industry. I would not be having this opportunity to share this and to have this level of self-confidence had it not been for network marketing. It is a self-development course with a paycheck. And I love to be able to teach it back to my team. So I get that. So find out with you what triggers you in that moment. Was it a person? Was it a company? Was it, and I find this a lot of the times too, is that people will not like network marketing because they've tried it and it wasn't successful for them. And that's why we've got tools in place to make sure that people that do want to work are able to work. And they have the steps outlined in sequential order in order to make it easy for me. 14 years ago, when I had no leadership, I had to teach myself all of this. And now I get to teach it back to others. So that's a win-win. So for me, my limiting beliefs is I still sometimes get to the I'm not good enough. And so I am worthy. I am successful. I love me and I love who I'm becoming. Number 2. So number 1 is play detective, find that limiting belief. Number 2, acknowledge that there is no truth in that limiting belief. There is no truth in the lies that you tell yourself. It's an emotion that's attached to a situation that you're going to observe and release. If you have to imagine that emotion catching on fire and burning, great. If you have to imagine it as a bird that takes flight and doesn't come back, imagine that. Another thing you can do is write your limiting beliefs down on a piece of paper and burn them, because they don't serve you anymore. You may have to do, a burn every day, but all of those physical, hand-eye, mental, emotional clearing sessions that you give yourself the gift of growing through every day is what's going to take you to that next level and pull you out of that funk. Number 3, try on a different belief and use better vocabulary. Like this: my financial difficulties in the past have taught me so much about how to be better with money today. Instead of saying, I'm so broke I can't afford anything, that vocabulary is keeping you stuck in that moment. But if you want to make a change, you have to start speaking as if that change is happening. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. And number 4, you have to act as if that belief is true. When I made the decision to speak on stage at Ray Higdon's event in Orlando, Ray didn't know I was going to speak. I didn't know how I was going to get to speak. I just knew I was going to speak. And so I acted as if that belief was true. And it ended up coming true. Now, that's not 100%. I mean, you still have to have things fall into place, but it also helped me grow as a leader. It helped me step into higher levels of leadership so that I could be better for my team. And it helped me be a better person. And I'm proud of myself. And as women, sometimes, especially, as women, when we say things like that, some people will judge and say, oh, she's just so conceited, or, oh, she thinks she's, blah, 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 and women are just so catty like that. Goodbye. You don't serve my world anymore. I don't have time for people like that in my life. And it's okay to be proud of yourself. It's okay to give yourself permission to grow. It's okay to be who you want to be, even if today is the first day you start working on getting there. So stop tripping over things that are behind you and start living the life that you deserve. Hopefully that was helpful. And I don't think I have any questions in there. Let me know if that was helpful for you, and come back to this tomorrow and let me know if you did the mirror training and how that felt to you. You can send me a message if you don't want to share it publicly. That's okay. But I look forward to seeing your growth and your power that's in you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.